Alright, so here will be a review of TWH's Grove GMK 3055, and I'm not sure exactly on this, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the earlier models that TWH produced, and it's definitely not the biggest, but it is really, really a cool model to have, especially to have a little crane in your collection to, do the small work. So to get started, there really isn't much detail on this crane, but it functions great and it really does what matter. It almost reminds me of a slightly higher detailed Conrad model, but with better paint and I guess a little more, engineering put into it, I guess you could say. So anyway, to get started with the review, since it's an early crane model, the outriggers are going to have threads on them, and you can see right there. And the pads do seem plastic, although I still can't figure out if they're plastic or metal. They do seem metal, but then again they give the appearance of being plastic. The outriggers fold in as well, and I always have a problem with these, but it seems that they click midway and fall out. And that goes for all four outriggers. The front of the cab, it has the old Grove style cab. It reminds me of a 7550. Whenever I look at this model, it just, for some reason, it reminds me of a mini 7550, although it's not even close in size. It's got the place where, I don't know exactly what you call this, but this is where you put your hook when you're in transport mode, and it is metal. It's got the windshield wipers. They're casted in. There's 3 of them. And not really too much detail on it. The mirrors you install yourself, really thin metal, which is nice. We glued them in so they wouldn't fall out, and they're working perfect like that. Again, not too much detail. It's got the warning light, which is nice, and a metal exhaust. Here's where you would rest your boom. The carrier is all flat, although it does have some lining in it to replicate panels in it. Wheels turn, they all turn separately, so I guess you could say you can turn them however you want. These unfortunately hit, so you gotta watch out if you turn them and you gotta move the crane. And it's got steps over here. The cab, which is a newer style cab, obviously, it looks identical to the cab on the 4115. Tilts up, and again, it stays up, which is nice, and you can put it in any position, which is a huge plus to the model. I like that a lot. I'm pretty sure I missed it, but the wheels are just, not too much detail on the rims, on the rim part. So the back of the cab, again, really isn't too much detail. It's got this plastic step to obviously get to the winches, and there is a little bit of detail on the step. It's simulated texture. Now, the winches are actually, on this model, they're better than the 4115 if you want to compare mobile cranes, because they're pretty hard to spin, and that means that the line won't fall. They're so hard to spin, sometimes it gets pretty annoying to spin. So, it's good and bad. Good thing is they give you 2, so if you want to run a block off the boom and then a whip line off the jib, which is really cool. The counterweights are able to come off, although haven't done that yet. Don't plan on doing that. Well, actually, my brother took them off. I didn't take them off. I don't plan on taking them off. And you can see the counterweight has a nice amount of detail. It's got the stripes, and it's got Grove casted right in there. And it also has these simulated lights on top. I'm trying to move it without whipping this load back and forth. Now, the right side, which honestly is pretty ugly in my opinion, ugly in visual appearance because there's really nothing here. It almost seems like it's missing something, although it's not, but still decent, and it's got a metal handrail. Now, what's great that they did with this is, and what's weird is they did it on such an early crane model, and I don't know if this is made if it was made recently or within the last year or so, but you could see they added the holes in so you could put it in a position that you want, which is really good. Like I said, I don't know when they made it, but if they made it a couple of years ago and they did that, that is great. I wish many manufacturers would do that on current day cranes. Now, the booms aren't really that detailed, and this part right here is basically where you would swing your jib into when you're transporting it, and it has these squares here, so you could bring the jib down to that, and not the jib, the boom, you could suck one of the first sections in and then lock it into place just like the cylinder is. Now I have the jib on mine and I'm not going to suck all the boom in. What I'm going to do is show you the same jib but in white, since I have the same crane but in white also. So when they give you the jib, it's in two pieces like so, and it goes on the crane just like this. It really doesn't come down too much, but it seems to go back more, and I still don't understand. I don't think I have it on backwards because of the way the sheaves are, but I might. I'm 99% sure that I don't. And you can see this is just a pain to get back in. I'm pretty sure I don't have it on incorrectly, because even the angle of the jib wouldn't make up for that, but that's besides the point. The last piece of the jib here is made just like a tower crane section, and the way it goes on is the triangle points towards the ground, which is different than a tower crane, and I have the other one pointing towards the sky, but it's incorrect. And you could basically just put it on like that, and I don't know for sure if you could swing it in because there's no lock on the other lattice section, so I don't think that you could. And it's nicely made and all. It's got metal sheaves, and this cylinder will hold it up pretty much in any position that you want it to. So now I'm gonna basically just show you the Grove, the 3055 fully extended. Now, the only really bad feature about the model is that the angle of the boom doesn't go up too high. This is the best angle you could get on it, and it probably doesn't look that bad this low, but when you got 4 sections out, it kind of increases the radius, which would then lower capacity. You can see, you know, it's a fairly, it's a nice height. Although I gotta reverse that piece up top. It's a really nice height. It doesn't go in too far for radius. I don't think this crane is really made for radius. I think it's made for height anyway, so it really doesn't matter to me. And you could pretty much just see the sections. So overall, low detail but nice features. I look at this crane and I think it's just perfect. It's a perfect gift for anyone, and for the price you really can't beat it. They sell for around 150, 130 bucks. If you're one of those people that really are unsure about getting a crane because of its detail and assembly goes, definitely get this one, because there's really not much to it, and it's a great starter crane. I know I've said other cranes are great starter cranes, but I don't think anything is gonna pass this up or anything. This is probably the best out there. I don't know how many are still available, but if you're looking to get a crane, and even if you have a low budget, this is a great one, because budgets are one thing that stops a lot of people from getting many models. And I have the white one as well, and I'll put it right next to this one. The white one actually runs the 2-sheave block and one sheave hook block 2-part line. And that's one thing bad about the model. They don't give you a ball hook so you could run a whip line, so I had to use my own, which sucks. And I don't know why they did that, but for whatever reason they did, and I really can't do anything about it. So I guess if you don't have a whip line, you can't run this hook off the jib, because there's no tie off on the jib. It's only for a whip line. But there they are, guys. Hope you liked it. It's a great starter crane, and thanks for watching.